We do this thing called deep cuts where it's just sort of like a lightning round.
Oh, God.
Name a song, album, or artist that changed your life.
Okay, I would say Madonna and Tori Amos.
Perfect.
I feel so gay saying that. I want to say like Limp Bizkit. Is that more gay? That might be fucking more gay.
Oh my God, Fred will love it. Fred will love that.
Fucking Snoop Dogg. Fuck that.
Done.
The gangs on the West Coast rule. All right, good.
What is your favorite healthy meal and splurge meal?
I'll make this acai bowl. Peanut butter and goji berries and Ariana berries and pecans and cocoa nibs. And I love it. I love all that.
Love that.
Health food shit. I'm in 100%. My splurge is going to be booze. I don't eat sugar. And what I mean by that is like, I don't eat added sugar. Like I don't do brownies and ice cream and all that stuff anymore. And I haven't for years, probably like 4 or 5 years. But like I'll have a glass, like my wife made this, it's all organic because she knows I'll have a tantrum, but she's an amazing cook. So she made this arrabbiata. It's all organic sauce and all organic pasta and organic Parmesan. And so I can feel really good about stuffing my face with all these carbs. Because I'm like, well, this tomato sauce is going to cure cancer. So
the lycopene. Yeah.
The olive oil on this, I think that's going to save my blood-brain barrier and prevent dementia. I need these things. I'm eating all that, but I'll have a glass, like just one, maybe 4 times a week, a glass of red wine. And it is just, dude, I don't get drunk because if I drink 2 glasses of wine, I'll throw up everywhere. 1 glass of wine, I don't feel drunk at all. So I just genuinely, the taste of it.
I love wine.
But it needs to be a big red, like a punch you in the face.
Like a cab or like,
yes,
yeah.
I can't. Yes. It has to. I don't even like a Bordeaux as much. And I want to be far more civilized and have a more experienced palate, but I just don't. I need a big California cab and a glass that's like a buck big.
I want like a goblet, like a medieval times goblet with like stones on it, like Game of Thrones. That's like me.
Yes.
What is something fans would be surprised to learn about you?
I guess that I'm kind of a pansy. Like you would think during these moments, I would really be, Mrs. Positivity, but I go down. I do not enjoy being vulnerable or contending with my humanity. I struggle through it every step of the way. And it does not come easy to me. Growth. I do it. I embrace it, growing, evolving, dealing with my shortcomings. But I don't have this peacefulness about me that like that guy I mentioned, this guy, Roland Griffiths. I don't have that kind of very zen, very wise. I wish I did. I'm just a fucking mess. And then when it's done being a mess, then I can come back and look like a guru, right? And be like, let's talk about overcoming back pain, Allison. But dude, if you'd seen me a year and a half ago, I would be like, Allison, I'm gonna fucking die, Allison!
I think it just means you're human. I think that's just all it means is that you're human. I do. I think that most people are like that. I'm a very positive person. And when I'm in chronic pain and I can't be not only on my A game, but I can't even be functioning. I mean, that takes a lot of mental fortitude to get on your way. So I get it. I'm with you on that. Yeah.
I wish I'd handled it better, but that's why I handled it in hindsight. That's how
Sharing your story, though, honestly, is actually very motivating and inspiring. Being candid about it, about your journey, is very inspiring.
You know what the truth is? In all honesty, if I ended up if it was over, I don't know that I would have shared it because I think it's like, oh my God, she was a super fit woman that was trying to show us that we could age great and fight disease and have all these things. And then she never walked again. That's a sad fucking story. That's not a story. I don't know. I don't think I have the Christopher Reeve in me. And I hope to God I don't get tested to find out. Like I'm much better at the whole, like, walked through fire, came out alive. That story I can tell, but I hope I don't get tested in that way because I worry I will fail that test. But I'm good at the build back. That part I'm good at. I can handle.
And I also think that you're good at being honest, though, and open, because even though you might have been ready to share that story while it was happening, the fact that you're sharing it at all is helpful and motivating and inspiring. I'm grateful for it.
You're kind to say.
I'm serious. I'm serious.
Thank you, bud. I appreciate it.
What does empowered mean to you? What does empowerment mean?
Empowerment means that you have the strength to take responsibility. Because if you can't take responsibility, you can't enable a change. And I mean that very literally. If we're looking at somebody, let's say, who's, by the way, people associate me, right, with helping people lose weight. Let's take an individual who's 100 pounds overweight. Okay. What brought that person to that place? I'm going to bet is a lot of abuse. In working with people like that, you will hear horror stories of incest and physical abuse, all kinds of trauma. And they will have learned to utilize food as a defense structure, whether it's choosing to be a bigger size or choosing to overeat, whether they realize it or not. They use this defense structure. And at one point or another, it was a means of survival for them, right? But if we can't get them to a space mentally where they're able to take responsibility for where things are now, they can't change. Because if you're a victim, right, you don't have the power to make a different choice. If you can't make a different choice, you can't enact a change. So empowered means that you have the self-worth and the ego strength to say, all right, all this bad shit did happen to me, but how I responded to it has brought me to this point. So now I got to make a different choice. And that's what it means to me, is the ability to take responsibility for where you're at in order to take the necessary actions to change that location.
Yes. We can't control what happens to us, but we can control our reactions to it. Yeah, absolutely.
That cliche.
You're so right.
Real.
It's so true, though. It is. It's something I remind myself of every day. It's like we are in control, and we can take control whenever we can.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to ask you, because I find your entire journey from a child transforming yourself, to a black belt and creating this whole career. You have sold hundreds of millions of DVDs. You have multiple books, which, by the way, I aspire to follow in your path as much as possible. But what is something that you still hope to achieve?
Oh my God, dude, how much time do you have? I was in a meeting today where we invested in this woman's supplement company. I say we, my business partner and I, because I fell in love with the company, fell in love with her story. We invested in the company, and we've been trying to help her grow it and subsequently sell this company or sell a part of it to bring in some private equity. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. We're close. So could all fall apart, but we're at the finish line. And in the meeting, they're asking, all of us, what is the vision for the company? Where do we want it to go? And I go, oh, you're really going to, I'm like, I could answer this question. I want to be the premier brand for women's wellness. And I was like, but if I had a dime for every time, you shot for the stars and you landed on the moon, I have a wine cellar full of bottles that were all bought to celebrate accomplishments I never had. I was like, this shall be the wine that I open when I finally win that Emmy.
In my chalice.
Yes. Yeah. Lost. And I had the pleasure of handing it to Jamie Oliver, who, by the way, couldn't have given enough shits to show the fuck up to accept the award. Meanwhile, I'm like, Jamie Oliver, you're the winner. And present it to Jamie, who didn't even bother to show up. The Time 100 list, I never made. The daytime talk show, I never got. I mean, are you fucking kidding? Like, it literally is... all the things that I didn't get, didn't achieve, didn't do. But the reality is usually there's a reason. usually rejection is some form of protection. And I thought daytime was going to be this incredible vehicle where you could continue to influence people. That was back in the day when, now mind you, Oprah is a phenom, but
yes,
it was one of 4 shows on television. There was no internet. There was no DVR. Now you can access every single bit of content ever produced in history like that.
At any time.
All this, it's now anything it's a drop in nobody watches TV in real time. Nobody watches daytime. So even though I didn't achieve it, you don't know what medium that will put you in to achieve something different, something else, something that you're meant to be doing. So, for me, I would love to continue to build platforms for fresh talent, new faces, interesting people who are putting products and messaging in the world that I think is, quote, better for you. Like a perfect example would be Align Naturals, this company that I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I love this woman. She's a mommy of 2 with an autoimmune condition who went on this journey to heal her body with food. And I fell in love with the company and then learned her brand story. And went to my business partner and I was like, this is a great product and a great brand story. We can grow this company. So I want to continue to be entrepreneurial in that way.
Yeah.
And focus a lot more on the business of other people's businesses, not just the Jillian Michaels brand. That's exciting to me now because it's like seeing yourself as a stepping stone to something greater. When I was younger, it was all about me. And now you realize that if you could just be this rung on a very important ladder, that's enough, So there's a lot to accomplish. There's a lot I wish I had accomplished. There's a lot I could still accomplish. But I would just say, shoot for the stars and land on the moon. Still a good place to be. I think all Earth is probably better. That's probably a shitty analogy. You got a long way. That's what I'm saying.
I love it. Jillian, you are a symbol of strength on so many levels, for so many, but for me personally. And I love hearing your stories. I want to hear all the stories while we're both holding a chalice of a goblet of a cab, like with belly laughing, like, I'm counting on it.
I look forward to a much more civilized in-person meeting in the not too distant future.